Let's welcome on board the management of the company, Mr. Yashovardhan Saboo, the founder and MD at Ethos, joins us on the show. Mr. Saboo, hi, thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. Let me start with the negatives first, and that was a bit of a disappointment on the margin front. If you could explain to us what led to the decline in margin to 12%, and going forward, what's the sustainable number of margin that we should track?
Well, I think it's not really disappointing. I'll tell you what happens is that a lot of our margins are determined by the exchange rate of the Indian rupee versus the Swiss franc or other currencies, which are used to import the Swiss watches or the other international watches we sell. And therefore, when there is a period of a depreciation of the Indian rupee, the margin is impacted by that because the cost of buying goes up. And this is then compensated when the MRP is in Indian rupees is changed by the brands to compensate for the depreciation of the Indian rupee. There is typically a time lag between the depreciation of the rupee and the MRP increase is happening, and this tends to be lumpy. And last year has seen a particularly significant depreciation of the rupee. It's been more than the normal, and therefore this has had its impact on the margin. We expect all of this to regularize as the price is rationalized. The INR prices are rationalized, which is expected to happen in the next couple of months. So we are not worried about the margin. We believe margin is on a stable front, and at the EBITDA level, our margins will continue to increase with the operating leverage.
Sir, if we see from the first quarter where the margins of the company were around 16%, by the end of the financial year, it came down to 12%. So for FY24, how should one look at your margins? Will it be at 16% for the full financial year or around the 12% mark, 13%? Any number if you could give us for FY24?
Well, we expect, so again, I'm not very sure because the EBITDA margin is for FY23 was at 12%, and for quarter four it was 10.4%, so a little bit lower than the average for the year. We believe the EBITDA margin will actually increase for the year.
Okay, so EBITDA margin in FY24 to improve versus FY23. That's the take coming in. But I also wanted your guidance with respect to same-store sales growth, which was seen at around 15 to 20%. Are we expecting the same trajectory in FY24? Is it expected to be better than 15-20%?
The same-store growth in FY23 was actually 30%. So that was a very welcome and a very great figure. Our long-term target for same-store growth is between 12 and 15%. That is what we believe same stores can grow and will grow for us. However, our overall target sales growth, which would be same store as well as new stores, over a long term, as I've mentioned in the past, we have been aiming, or we will continue to aim at 20 to 25%. In FY24, we actually hope to be able to do much better, and we expect to see overall sales growth between 25 and 30% in this year.
So, sir, you had plans to open around 40 new stores across tier 1 cities like Surat, Raipur, Bhubaneswar. So, is that plan on track? And for FY24, how many stores do you plan to open, including in tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3?
Plan is very much on track. You're right, 40 stores are planned for FY24-25. In FY24, we have planned between 20 and 22 stores. A lot depends on when the malls open, especially where there are mall stores. Sometimes malls get a bit delayed. But as of now, it seems to be on track to open at least 20 stores this fiscal.
Saboo, so those are the big headlines coming in that the margins are expected to trend higher in FY24 versus FY23. You're looking at a growth of around 25 to 30% in FY24, and the medium-term same-store sales growth guidance is around 15 to 20%.
No, sorry, that's not my guidance.
Oh, sure. Okay, could you correct me then? What's the number?
Yes, please. The same-store sales growth, we don't really have a guidance on that, but our long-term target for same-store sales growth is between 12 and 15%.
12 to 15% is what you're aiming for. Let's see whether you're able
Yes.
to beat that or not. But on that note, Mr. Saboo,
Sure.
we let you go. Appreciate you joining us on the show today. So those are
Thank
the big
you.
headlines coming in from Ethos.